Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. To tell you the truth, I was not planning on doing a video today. I was sick most of last night and most of today, and I slept a lot and laid around a lot, and I thought to myself, I'm just not going to record a video. I'll do an extra one later on this week. And then I made the mistake of deciding that I was going to browse online and see what interesting things I could find there. And that is when I found a video that took me aback, and it really inspired me to do a video today anyway. So what I'm going to share with you today is that your 1-year-old does not have to be homeschooled. You know, I have talked about this so many times. In this day and age, all we hear about is early childhood education, early literacy, preschool, daycares that now have a more schoolish atmosphere. And this is something that is rampant everywhere. And I have been very vocal about the fact that children who are 3, 4, 5, and sometimes up through like 7 years of age, they do not need any sort of formal schooling. They're still at that point in time where they're going to learn best through play. And you know, I know that I do school with my 7-year-old, and I do school with my 5-year-old. It's a very short amount of time, but I especially believe that like with those really young kids, like 3 and 4 years old, yes, they're going to learn through play. They don't need a structured curriculum. If they ask to do a curriculum because their older siblings are doing it, then yes, of course, by all means. But it's not something where you should become bound to that schedule with your 3 or 4-year-old. You know, I did pre-K with my youngest daughter and with a couple of my kids. But again, it was because they asked. They wanted to be a part of our homeschool day. So what I did was I just went out and I bought a couple workbooks. I used a little bit of a pre-K curriculum with my youngest, but I only did these things when they asked. If they were not in the mood to do it that day, I didn't worry about it. And this was big for me because type A homeschool mom, I wanted, if I had something that we were supposed to do, I wanted to stick to that schedule and do it no matter what. You can't have that mentality with young children like that. They are best at learning through play. They are best at exploring the world on their own, finding out how things work. So, to be honest with you, I never in a million years expected to find an article that was giving tips on how to homeschool a 1-year-old, but I did. And I'm going to admit, it fired me up a little bit, because have we really reached that point in society where we actually think that we have to do structured learning times with babies? I mean, babies. I'm thinking of Brave New World. You know, I'm just thinking of that sort of atmosphere. Babies do not need to do school. They, out of all the younger children, they have been untainted by the world. They hopefully haven't reached a point in time where they've had people constantly telling them what to do so that they no longer do things on their own. Babies are the masters of play. They are the masters of exploring. They are master scientists, and they are masters at figuring out how things work. And any of us who are parents know that that is the case. They're constantly into everything. So again, I was shocked that there would be people who would be interested in how to homeschool a 1-year-old. And I know that this can come about just because if someone is deciding to homeschool in the future, they might be excited about it and just want to get started on that more structured part early. Other times they, again, might be planning to do it later on down the line and just want to get started really early to make sure that they have, you know, all of their ducks in a row and get everything moving. But I also think that another reason that some people might decide to do it is, you know, the same mentality that some people have when they decide that they're going to send their 2-year-old for like Latin lessons. It might just be a sense of pride. And I know that there are some people who won't like when I say that, but that is something that happens in some homeschools. Some people just get to the point where they are homeschooling out of a sense of pride. They want to be able to tell other people about their child's accomplishments. So, and I don't know why people particularly are deciding that they want to start doing homeschooling lessons with their babies, but I cannot reiterate to you enough how much you just don't want to do this. And I understand that a lot of times the intentions of what they might be telling you of how to homeschool your baby, because that's what they are, they're babies. And, I would even consider a 2-year-old a baby. A lot of them are just giving you ideas, like on how to play with your baby. And that is something that you really, really need to watch out for, because while it is awesome if parents want to play with their babies, you have to be very careful of doing it because you want to show them how to play. Because if there is anything that babies do not need to be shown, it is how to play. And I just went over that a couple minutes ago about how they're constantly into things, and they're explorers, and they are naturally curious about the world. And they are still very, very innocent at this age. A lot of kids, once they start to get older and they start attending school or start getting more structured lessons, they do reach a point in time where they are no longer curious, or they might not be as curious as they used to be. They might reach a point in time where they start to just wait for other people to tell them what to do. They no longer have that motivation to go about and do things on their own. They always want someone else to tell them what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and explain to them why to do it. And that is something that you don't want to take away that sense of wonder in a baby. And that is what is bound to happen if you have something where you are constantly showing your little ones how to play. Again, they don't need to be shown how to play. They are far better at playing than any adult. I guarantee that. So what you are doing when you are trying to show your little ones specifically what it is that they should be doing and how they should be doing things, you're starting them off early on what usually ends up happening in school age kids. You're starting them off on a path of always waiting to be told what to do. And that is something that you really do not want to take away from your little one's life. And again, I'm not just talking about 1-year-olds here. I believe that children who are 1, 2, 3, 4, and like I said earlier, even up to 7, they might not be ready. Well, 1-year-olds are definitely not ready for schoolish learning. But even like a 6-year-old might not be ready for school yet, developmentally. And that is okay, because they are still at the point where play-based learning is what is best for them. And, so when they start to be 5, 6, 7 years old, that is when it starts to be iffy, because some kids are ready to do learning like that at that age. Others are not. But I have never seen a 1-year-old baby that I thought was ready to do school. And, again, one thing that I always tell parents when they ask me how to start their 3 or 4-year-old homeschooling, what I usually tell them is, you just want to let your child play. Let them be kids. There is a fire truck coming. But anyway, you just want to let your kids be kids. And I know, because my kids have done this. Gonna wait. Okay, my kids have done this. They have gotten to the point where they asked to do school. And I said this earlier, I think, where they just wanted to be a part of school. They wanted to be like their older siblings. So, if that's the case, absolutely. Let your child do school. Let them be a part of it. But don't become really, really rigid about it. But I don't think that many 1-year-olds are going to be asking to do school, because typically they are far too busy exploring other things and learning about other things all on their own. And you have to think about this. Did your baby go to school to learn how to sit? Did your baby go to school to learn how to crawl? Did your baby go to school, if they are starting to talk more, did your baby go to school to learn how to talk? No, These were all things that were done just because they were taking things in from the world around them. You know, they learned how to sit and to crawl just by experimenting. I told you, they're scientists. More sirens coming. I don't know what's going on out there. But anyway, they're little scientists. So yes, they learn how to sit. They learn how to crawl. They learn how to scoot around the floor by just hands-on learning, trying things out. And, you know, unless there is something where your child needs to have physical therapy and needs a little boost, and I have had a couple of children who needed that. But if your child is at the point where they're wanting to do these things on their own, it's not because you sent them to school to learn how to do it. And the same goes with talking. Your children learn how to speak by being around people who are talking. They see that when one person moves their mouth and sounds come out of it, another person will react, will do something for them, or will say something back. They start to make that connection, and they don't need a lesson plan to show them how to do it. So that is really what I wanted to share with you today. I'm going to say it again. Your 1-year-old child does not have to be homeschooled. If you want to homeschool them in the future, oh my gosh, have at it. It is one of the most awesome things you will ever do, but please wait until they are developmentally ready. Babies don't need to be homeschooled. Anyway, that's all that I have for you today. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet and would like to hear more of what I have to say, I would love if you would do that. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave one down below. And if you like my work, you can check out my Patreon page and see what rewards I have for my patrons there. And I hope you have a great day.